Before we get to the main topic of this video, I want to quickly shout out the Konami Facebook page. The reason I'm shouting them out is because it relates very much to this video. They recently posted just a couple hours ago the image of 2 of the FA cards coming out in the next set, and there's a poll, so we can vote on which one we want to see revealed tomorrow. However, the reason I'm shouting it out is that if it gets to 6,000 votes, both cards will be revealed, and if it gets to 12,000 votes, all 5 FA cards will be revealed. Now, last time that they did this, I believe it was Auto Navigator and FA Motorhome Transport. In both those cases, it did get to the 6,000 vote range, but it did not get to the 12,000 vote range, which means that we had to wait a couple more days for the rest of the cards to get revealed. So I'm going to shout it out today. If you just have a couple seconds to go over to the European Facebook page and just vote on either one of them, so we can hopefully get it to 12 votes, that would be super exciting. I really want to get started working on the next FA build, and by seeing all 5 cards, I can actually start working on that build. But the other thing that I want to mention, if you look at the artworks, just to quickly give an idea of what these are, just in context, the card on the left is very clearly the bad guys of the FA universe. These cards have appeared on cards like FA Downforce and I believe FA Circuit Grand Prix, so I think people were expecting those to be added for a while now, and now finally they are actually getting added to the game. And then the other card on the right hand side is it's actually FA Sonic Meister with some added sort of engines, and we saw this in the picture of FA Test Run. In FA Test Run, you can see that they have sort of a Sonic Meister leaving the test run facility, or I guess starting its test run by leaving the facility where it was built, and it has all these extra engines on it. So that's kind of what they are in that context. But anyway, in today's video, we're going to take a look at what I hope these new 5 cards do. I mean, we don't know the effects yet, depending on when you see this video. At the very least, I think it's safe to say that by the time that tomorrow happens, we will know both of these cards' effects. I'm not sure if we can get to that all 5 effects, but this is going to be kind of a wish list video. I've played a lot of FAs. I took them to 2 regionals. I think I have a pretty good grasp on what that deck needs. So let's get started just talking about what I want this deck to get with this last wave of support. If you haven't played FAs before, let me give you a brief summary. Basically, they're a combo-oriented deck that revolves around level modulation. Their level 4 non-tuners get bonus effects when they are increased to level 7 or higher, and they also have some pretty crazy cards. Probably the 3 craziest are FA Test Run, which is a non-targeting quick play spell removal, and also a Zodiac Barrage in the grave. Then they have FA Pit Stop, which is like a better Good Goblin housekeeping on the field, and then a Monster Reborn in the grave. And then lastly, they have FA Auto Navigator, which is one of the most ridiculous level 1 tuners I've ever read. It has a recursion effect every single turn. It has a search effect on board. It has level modulation effect. It's just like one of the craziest archetype tuners that I've seen in a while. So those 3 cards sort of make up the backbone for FAs. They also have a variety of field spells that all have the same search effect. When they're destroyed, they can just add any FA card from your deck to your hand. So this deck revolves around huge combo sequences, usually involving Ancient Fairy Dragon to destroy the field spells and add a level 4 guy and then special summon it. Just all these crazy combos that you can do with it. It's not really a control deck. It just gets a whole field of crazy monsters and just sort of beats your opponent down with large attack points. So that's basically what FAs do. Now, one of the things that I found in them, and one of the things that I hope we get out of the new cards, is currently you have to play several off-theme cards that don't really mesh well when you draw mismatching parts of them, but do work when you draw certain hands. And what I mean by this is the first thing that almost every single person has to play is either Zodiac Barrage or the Ancient Gear Catapult. So both these cards are kind of different, but the main thing that both of them do is that if you open either one of them and a field spell, you can then pop the field spell to special summon a level 4 from your deck. In Zodiac Barrage's case, it's Zodiac Thoroughblade, not FA Thoroughblade, Zodiac Thoroughblade, and in the Ancient Gear's case, I think it's Ancient Gear Wyvern, and then the field spell searches FA Auto Navigator, and you can sort of jumpstart your combos that way. In both those cases, that's a 2-card Skull Dread combo. That's not what you're always doing. A lot of times you're just making a big board without the Skull Dread, and that's sort of like the central thing. So one of the things that I really want out of the new FA cards, if it's not too wishful thinking, is I want a Zodiac Barrage or an Ancient Gear Catapult. Some kind of spell you can activate on the first turn to pop a field spell and special summon a level 4 monster would be super awesome. Yes, FA Test Run does have that effect while it's in the graveyard, but that's kind of slow and you can't do it on the first turn, so it's kind of tricky. It doesn't really help you set up your board. It helps you once you already have a board already. So that's kind of not quite what I want out of a card. FA Test Run is like almost there. If the effects are reversed, it might be kind of interesting, but I want a card that's Zodiac Barrage or Ancient Hero Catapult just immediately on turn 1. The other card that's off theme that I kind of have to play, although not everyone plays it, would be Cockadoodledoo. I think this card is super awesome. It's basically just a level 3 guy that you can special summon from your hand on the first turn. Yeah, it can sometimes come out at level 4 or level 5, but in general, you're summoning this thing as level 3 going first. The big benefit of this is that instead of having to open Barrage or Catapult in a field spell, as long as you open Cockadoodledoo, a level 4 monster in a field spell, it basically does the same combo. So Cockadoodledoo is pretty important. So I would love to see a level 3 special summonable tuner monster. That would be awesome. And I think that those two things, the Barrage and then the Cockadoodledoo type card, would be a big benefit to the FA strategy. Because right now we have to play a bunch of off-theme cards, and I'd rather just play on-theme cards. And I think that would definitely make the deck a lot more consistent and powerful. However, if all we get from this new set is retrained versions of Cockadoodledoo and Zodiac Barrage, while the deck will technically be more powerful and it will definitely boost the consistency, the overall strategy of the deck won't change too much from what I was playing a month ago. So I think that we need to look even further on our wish list here. So the first thing that I want to suggest, and this is something that sort of came from a commenter way back in the day when I talked about the new FA cards and what I want to see from them. This is sort of a modified version of his comment, but basically a level 4 non-tuner monster that can special summon itself from the hand by popping a face-up FA card. Oh man, that would be so good. So it's sort of the opposite of Cockadoodledoo. Cockadoodledoo helps in the hands when you only draw a level 4 FA that's a non-tuner and then a field spell, whatever. This card would help when you just draw Auto Navigator and a field spell, or even just Auto Navigator, because you could just activate or play the Auto Navigator, search a field spell, play the field spell, pop the field spell to summon a level 4 guy. That'd be pretty good. Then the field spell would trigger its graveyard effect to search any card. So I think that that would be super powerful. Maybe even give it like a Kage Tokage effect to restrict it a little bit, so you have to actually trigger it off of another normal summon. But regardless, I think that effect would help the deck a lot, and I think it would give it a totally new dynamic. And I think one of the reasons that I'm more ambitious about this time around, more optimistic about it, I should say, is that because we have sort of the villain FA card, I think it would be very on theme to have it not have completely the same effect as the good guy FA cards. I don't think it necessarily has to have all of the same, like, oh, it gets a bonus effect when it gets level 7, that kind of stuff. I don't think is completely necessary, and I think it would be kind of cool if it gave it a destruction effect, like, oh, the villain race car, the villain organization is blowing up the racetrack or whatever. That's kind of like the thematic approach that I'm taking to this villainous card, and especially if we get not only the one villain card but maybe another villain card as well, they could have sort of an on-theme effect of just like destroying stuff, because that would kind of go along with the lore in the FAs. Not that we have a lot to go on, because it's like pictures of cards racing, but I think we can just kind of see, oh, it's like the purple guys and they're attacking the other guys, so we can kind of say, oh, maybe they're blowing up the field. So anyway, that level 4 guy would be cool. I think a tour guide from the Underworld would be really awesome as well. Even if this card has like a combination of the level 4 guy that I just mentioned and then the Zodiac Barrage effect, if there is a tour guide type card that you normal summon it, popped an FA card, and then special summon a guy from the deck, that'd be really awesome. I think they're not going to give FAs too many one-card combos, like an actual just tour guide. I think that if they were giving it a card like that, or giving a card like I just mentioned, it would have to be a 2-card combo. They seem very interested in giving this deck a lot of 2 and 3 and sometimes 4-card combos to get these huge plays off. So I think a tour guide type card that maybe had to pop another card would be pretty good. It'd be kind of like a Barrage and the level 4 guy I just mentioned, all wrapped into one neat package. I also think a field spell that did something when it was activated would be really helpful. So the two worst hands in FAs are all level 4 monsters or all field spells, but at least with level 4 monsters you can like make a rank 4 sometimes, or if you have like level 4s and like a Cockadoodledoo, you make a level 7 synchro monster. But when you just draw all field spells, or like 2 field spells and 2 terraformings, you actually have no plays because they don't do anything by themselves. I think that's one of the biggest downsides of the FA deck. So I'd love to see, I mean, this is really far reaching because I don't think they'll give us this, but if they gave us a field spell that search an FA monster when you activated it, oh man, that'd be so good. Even if it didn't have the level modulation effect of the other field spells, even if it didn't have the, I mean, I would want it to have the graveyard effect, but if it didn't have the level modulation effect, it didn't have any sort of added like battle phase or main phase effect, all it did was search a card when it was activated and search a card when it's destroyed. I think that would actually really sort of smooth out all of the FA plays, and to give you something to do with the terraformings that you draw when you don't have any monsters. The last thing that I want to mention is a main deck boss monster. I think they're probably just going to give us another extra deck boss monster, but what I'd really like to see is a card maybe not quite as strong as SPYRAL Sleeper. I think that would be a little too overboard, but I would like to see a card like Batteryman Industrial Strength. Instead of banishing Batteryman and then banishing Thunders, it would banish FAs and then banish Machines. I think that'd be really cool. I think it wouldn't be too overpowered because Batteryman Industrial Strength isn't a quick effect, which is what made SPYRAL Sleeper so good. But I think sort of this big boss monster BLS type card that's that can pop things would be really neat. Batteryman Industrial Strength also has the added benefit of popping spells and traps. So you can just pop your field spell. That'd be really cool. So I think that pretty much wraps up everything that I want to see out of these new FA cards. By the time you see this video, maybe 2 of the cards, maybe even 5 of the cards have been revealed. But this is just my most optimistic sort of mindset. I think these cards are going to be good. I think the new ones are going to be good. And the reason that I think that is that they have gotten increasingly better as time has gone on. If you look at the Vendread cards, they sort of have gotten worse, or at least just stayed consistent as time goes on. Very similar to like the Subterror cards, which didn't get any good cards until the very end. I think Vendreads are in that same exact spot where the cards that they're going to give them, even if they're good this set, they can't actually break or fix the inherent flaws with the actual Vendread strategy. But FAs already have a ton of powerful cards at their disposal, and they gave them a ton of good cards in the last set, 4 actually really good cards in the last set. So I think in this set, they probably can give us 5 good cards or another 4 good cards, and that would make the deck a fairly good rogue contender. Anyway, though, let me know what you think in the comments. Please don't forget to vote. I really want to see all 5 of those cards tomorrow. That'd be super exciting. Yeah, I will see you guys later. Goodbye.